It is small and you are sad. You can't read it and it's bad. Even if for you it's meant you're protesting vehement. Bonjour mes amis. You've got now two options. One is to pause the video and try to think more about the riddle to see if you can come up with something. Or the second is to continue watching the video and discover together with me the answer. Well, the answer is related with the problem for which today I want to present you four different solutions. And the problem is related with the PowerPoint presentations. During my activity, I saw more than 1,000 live presentations, and in more than 90% of the cases, the presenters didn't know to enlarge something, didn't know to enlarge part of the slide so that the audience was not in the position to see easily the content. So that's why today, four different solutions to resolve this problem. Let's start. So this time the lucky guy has developed a brand new 16 steps plan for a new nice trip to the mountains, where the main objective is to convince Emma and Lily to join him in this wonderful trip. He has come up with very convincing arguments so that in the end the girls will end up by saying a big yes. But nobody's perfect, and even if Lucky Guy is already very famous for its IT abilities, this time he's gonna hit trouble. Why? Well, because he has miscalculated one little thing. He thought that putting everything together into one single slide will minimize the chance to receive a no for his proposal. But after he had started the presentation in front of the girls, their reactions were...
Oh, lucky guy. What is this? I can't see pretty much anything,
said Emma, while Lily said,
Oh, this sounds interesting, but my eyes can't distinguish too many things, lucky guy.
Oh man, I can't believe it, and I had everything prepared. So, do you want to help Lucky Guy to get out of this unpleasant situation? Yes? Alright, then let's show him four different solutions. First of all, I really have to recognize the fact that the Lucky Guy has done a pretty awesome job by positioning alongside each one of the 16 steps of an associated image with the clearly purpose of backing up his words by already proven facts highlighted in the pictures. Knowing that the biggest fears of the girls were associated with the trip costs and the destination location. Finally, he heard that the girls were planning a trip to their favorite forest road, but in the last weeks this road has been closed and this picture is showing this evidence. Finally, he thought that the weird huge rock would be a pretty interesting attraction for every tourist, so that's why he has included this picture in the plan. Really, I have to say that the plan is amazing, but is lacking of a good display. So let's resolve these right now. So for option number one, the things are quite easy. We just have to enter into the presentation mode and just hit the control and the mouse wheel until we will enlarge the slide enough. As you can see now, the text is very visible, and from the images perspective we can see the details that we want. For example, here time, temperature, kilowatts, and so on. But Logically, the disadvantage is that the presenter has to move manually through the slide in order to expose whatever element he wants. So this is a disadvantage that is not going to be found in option number 2. For option number 2, the things are more complicated in our case because here we have a combination between images and shapes. And in the shapes case, the text, the font that has been used is very, very small. As you can see, is just 4. And practically, if we're gonna enlarge it, we will risk to be out of the shape, as you can see. So initially we can't do this. Initially we have to do something else. Okay, let's undo the things. We are back at 4 again. Great. Let's make this smaller, and then we will select practically everything, and then Ctrl G to group everything and to format one single shape or one single picture. Once we have done this, then let's make a duplicate slide. Perfect. And the first one will remain as a reference, and the second one we will use it to modify the things. Well, firstly we will enlarge this big shape or this big picture. First of all, we will go to picture format, and then here to make sure that we're gonna lock the aspect ratio, because we don't want to ruin the initial ratios between the height and the width. Now that we have locked the aspect ratio, we can increase everything. So I will increase it, let's say by 3 times, make it here a 22. When we're gonna do this, the pictures and the shapes are going to be increased 3 times, but the font size won't be increased because we haven't converted the shapes into images. So remember, just the images and the shapes will increase, not the font. Okay, as we can see, we have a pretty large picture now, and is much bigger than our slide. That's very good because this is what we have wanted. Now we can actually increase also the font without risking to have the font outside the shapes. So let's zoom a little bit in. Okay, let's go here. Let's select the font. Great. And instead of 4, we will triple it. So it means we'll put a 12. That's great. Select this, then double click on the format painter, and then we will apply the styles to all the other shapes very fast, and we will have all of them with the appropriate font. That's super great. We have still 1, 2, 3 types of fonts that haven't been adjusted: the title, the start and the finish, and the numbers. So let's zoom it a little bit more. Great. Can make it a 24. Perfect. Here we had a 10. I won't increase these 3 times. I will just increase it by 2 times and something. Okay. Great. Now let's have this selected. Double click here and formatting the others. Great. And now for the final stop. a 24 here. That's great. And the title, the main title, well, I'm not gonna increase it 3 times because later on I'm gonna decrease a little bit everything, so I will have to adjust this constant and I don't want to do so. So here I will put, let's say, a 120. For the moment is perfect. Now we can move the image so that the start and our first 2 steps will be positioned in our second slide. Okay, now we will make a duplicate, and in this duplicate we're gonna position the steps number 3, 4, and 5. But as you can see, there are a little bit big for what I want to put here. I mean, we don't have enough room for all the 3 steps, meaning that I should decrease now a little bit the size from 22. I will make 16. Now that's awesome. Again, duplicate the slide. This time we want to put the steps from number 6, and as you can see, we can't put steps number 10, steps number 9, 10, and 11, so I want them to be together. So one more decrease, and now it's perfect. I have 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That's great. And one more slide, then we'll put from 12. That's super great, and we will end the things. Great. And now let's put the morph transition between the slides, and we're pretty much done with the second option. Now let's watch what we have achieved. So we will start with our small slide. Now with a click, when we'll advance, we'll have automatically animation, and as you can see, everything is being zoomed for the first 2 steps. That's great. Then we move to steps number 3, 4, and 5, also with the title. That's great. Also with this nice icon. I've showed it to you in a previous video how to create beautiful colored icons in PowerPoint. You can click in the link above to watch that video. Then we advance to step number 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 with the associated pictures, and finally with the last steps from 12 to 16. Alright, so this was the option number 2. Very nice, very elegant. Option number 3 alone is just a little bit more complicated than option number 2 if you want to take care of the quality. But option number 3 combined with option number 2 done with morph transition is much more complicated due to the issues that will appear. But because I don't want to make this video even longer, we will talk in details about all these issues in our part 2 episode. For the moment, thank you so much for watching, and if you enjoyed the content, please consider share it with the others. After watching this video, I really hope that your work is going to be a little bit easier, and I'm waiting for you in the next episode. A bientôt, mes amis.